with and Ground Zero on FM News 101.
This is not a test. It is the future. Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis.
Go to Clancy in Dover, New Hampshire. Hi, Clancy, on Ground Zero.
Hey, how you doing tonight, Clyde?
Good, man.
Hey, it's good to get a hold of you tonight. What I wanted to talk about is earlier you brought up the U.S. government events that led to Pearl Harbor.
Uh-huh.
And we know about Gulf of Tonkin and the false crisis as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what I'd like to bring up is a real precedent to this strategy, and that was the Mexican-American War, which was fueled by the 1845 Texas annexation by the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a border dispute, and at the time, James K. Polk was president. And Mexico saw the Nueces River as the border, and then the Americans saw the farther south and much longer Rio Grande as the border, which ended up being the border.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1846, Polk, he puts troops past the Nueces. Mexico saw this as an aggressive attack, and so they attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And Polk brought to Congress, and they brought them together, and he said, hey, look, now we got dead Americans on American soil, and then there was a war, and then we got half our country. So, and since then, it's been our strategy. I mean, nowadays, instead of taking the land, we engage in this political hegemony thing, which means wars. And being in war since World War II, because we had World War II, occupation of Japan, which was a real war. My grandpa was in it. And I mean, they still had thousands of troops in China. Japan did. And then you have Korean War, Indochina War that became the Vietnam War, Angola, Soviet, Afghan, Desert Storm, Kosovo, Afghanistan, ...
Yeah.
all the way to present day. So this is what we do. We're never a country of peace anymore.
But could we? But are we seeing ourselves using the same hegemony? Sorry. Are we using the same hegemony against Russia? I mean, is this something? I mean, when did we wake up and realize that we could take on somebody like Russia? I mean, what do they know that we don't?
Well, we're trying to. I called a month ago when we were talking about the Ukraine crisis.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes along with that. Gain resources. And Russia sees it as back off, NATO, back off.
Mm-hmm.
And we're threatening them. So they're threatening us back with flying planes close to our country. You know, and when that happens to us, it's like, oh, Russia, they're evil, they're bad, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
But then when we do it to them by going into the old bloc countries, and we're in Ukraine, which used to be part of the Soviet Union, I mean, come on, you don't think they're gonna respond to that?
Well, see, yeah, I agree with you. I wonder sometimes about the, those who are hot under the collar. I've talked about this stuff before, and I've had people more, I guess you say brash, calling the show saying, well, you're
right.
just sympathizing with Putin, and no, I'm not sympathizing with Putin. What I'm doing is I'm pointing out that there's a fault in leadership here. We have these leaders. We have one leader that's listening to all the war hawks. And I think the war hawks want more than anything to have war with Russia. But I'm wondering, when did they wake up and say they wanted war with Russia? Probably because they were Cold War kids that decided that in the Aquarian handoff, they wanted to be able to take on Russia. And that they wanted to be able to tell all of their grandkids, yeah, we hated Russia when we were kids. We couldn't do a thing about it. But now, as older people, we can do something about it. We've done it. We've shown them. But that's the thing, is that I thought showing the Soviet Union was the bringing down of the wall, bringing down of the curtain, and then they did everything in their power to be more like us.
Well, look at the Desert Storm and the Kuwait situation and George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
He went and George H.W. He went in, got the job done quick, and that was it. But then it almost seemed like George W. had this thorn in his side, and he had to take down Iraq for daddy.
Yeah.
And I think we have something similar with Russia. Okay, the wall's down. Oh, but Russia's still there. Ugh. You just go back to your basics. You go back to your old grudges, and why not? This can make some good money if we go with Russia.
Yeah, I know. It would make a lot of good money. But
this is lovely, right? We're all supposed to be happy now.
We would lose a lot of Americans. We would lose a lot of civilians. We would lose a lot of things. I mean, this would probably be the first time America would have the experience of worried about whether or not all kinds of planes were intruding, whether or not they're going to drop bombs, hearing the sounds of jet aircraft or jets, not realizing that it's a rocket that may be ready to go down and explode. These are things that I think that Americans aren't ready for. They're not ready to hear
Yeah.
Rockets over their city ready to explode and stuff. I don't think they're ready for it.
Yeah, I don't think everybody can turn into Patrick Swayze, fight against the Russians, Red Dawn style. I don't think as many people have that in them nowadays. And if we do, I mean, it's a possibility that could happen.
Yeah, I would think so. I just, that's the thing that I wonder about is whether or not, Americans could take being, I mean, we've never really had that experience of being worried about whether or not we'd wake up and have a group of Germans or a group of North Koreans or a group of somebody gathered at our apartment complex going door to door shooting people or taking prisoners of war or having tanks going down our streets because there are troubles. I mean, we may see that in the future. I mean, I think that maybe they're preparing us for that. Maybe that's what they want us to think about as we see these problems in our hometowns with the Ferguson and the New York situation, because I know that the soldiers have been taking a lot of notes about how to look at crowds and what to do with crowds. That is, if we have some sort of invasion, whether it be from Russia or some other country.
And when you're talking about, like, we haven't ever been really occupied, we haven't. And some of my friends that are from Hungary and Bulgaria and those regions, they were under the boot. And they're probably the most peace-loving people on the planet because they realize it's no fun to have war on your soil. And we just don't have that perspective. We've never... So for us, it's like a football game. You get to watch it from a distance.
Right. And it's not going to happen like that anymore. I mean, if we keep doing what we're doing to Russia and with these secret plans, like they said, it's steps away from war, steps away from having them invade or having somebody invade. Clancy, thank you for your call. It's a great call. It's true. We've never had that, and we may have that in our future if this continues. We're already used to police on our streets policing our own American citizens for protests. Wouldn't be that far of a stretch to allow the military to bring tanks and other heavy artillery if we think we're being invaded by Russia or some country that wants to defend Russia. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. We'll be back with more. Keep it here on Ground Zero.